Hey, big head! For 3 years I endured that taunt. Middle school was over, and I promised myself high school would be different. One day while I was riding my bike down Kipling, I passed a big yellow building. I knew it was some kind of medical building. I'd passed this building many times before in the car, but this day, on my bike, something was different. Hey, why not do my community service hours here? But I was 13. I was told to come back when I was 14. My first assignment at Kipling Acres was visiting with Annie. Annie was an 80-year-old dementia patient who believed she was 19. It was difficult. A conversation today would be forgotten tomorrow. I would listen to her childhood stories and often hear the same one twice. Yet she was amazing company. One day I came in for our weekly visit, and her name wasn't on the list. I found out that she'd passed away. I was placed with another resident. As each one passed away, I was reassigned. By this time, 40 hours were now 80, then 100. After a year and a half, I'd been placed everywhere possible. It was time for me to form the youth council so that student volunteers got the responsibility I knew we could handle. It would also heal the split between students and adult volunteers, something I really didn't like at all. If we worked together, we could achieve so much more. Now, students are developing and running their own programming. The energy is contagious. If I've learned one thing, it's that many of the residents lose touch with their families. They're among so many, yet still alone. One resident in particular taught me the sad truth. That was Harold. The youth council had started an arts and crafts program. You know, simple crafts, the kind of thing you do in elementary school. Well, Harold was like a child, anxious to see the new activities. All he would talk about was his family. I loved hearing stories about his son and the baseball games they went to. But I noticed that every time I'd see Harold, he'd mention his family a little less. Until one day, he told me he hadn't seen his son in over a year. I was confused. He would describe his son, even compare him to me, as if his son was always there. At that moment, I realized the loss he was feeling. I understood his loneliness. His son did finally come to visit, and afterward he came up to me. Thank you for being there for my father.